We're live. Welcome back to the show. What's on Doctor Who on Twitch tonight is a mouthful, and I'm pretty sure I've said it wrong every episode, but we're 15 days in, and goodness gracious me, we're not going to be stopping now. Welcome. If you're new to the show, this is the show where we sit every night, a good couple hours into the stream actually being on, and we talk about what's on Doctor Who tonight. This video series has been quite informative for myself because I thought I had a good grasp on Classic Who, but it's shown me that a lot of the things I know about it are basically, oh yeah, that's the episode where the Doctor turns into a cactus, for example. So until we hit, well, I say after tonight we should be pretty well, but tonight I think we're just going to lump a lot of things together. I've actively got Wikipedia pages open for certain episodes, if that tells you anything. But let's have a wee look at the schedule and see what's on tonight. I believe it's Creature from the Pit, 4 episodes. Nightmare of Eden, 4 episodes. The Horns of Nimon, 4 episodes. The Leisure Hive, 4 episodes. Megalos, 4 episodes. Full Circle, 4 episodes. And State of Decay, you get 3 episodes of that, and then 3 episodes of it tomorrow. Yes, if I said any of those names wrong and pronounced them wrong, let me know in the chat. I read all these names when I was a wee bairn, so their mispronunciations are lodged deep within my brain. But yes. Right, first up, we've got, if I can find the Twitch thing, Creature from the Pit. I believe that's the one where Barbara, the actress that plays Barbara, from the first Doctor's Companions, doesn't reprise her role as Barbara, but she turns up as some pantomime villain. This era, I feel, is very pantomimey, and you can say that in a good way and a bad way. It's kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think David Hasselhoff's ever appeared in Who, and that feels like a crime. Like, how is the Hoff not been in the Who? Like, surely that's a no-brainer, whatever that expression means. But yeah, Creature from the Pit, I vaguely remember being quite boring, to be brutally honest. And I like the kind of central thing that there's like a creature from the pit, and that's quite a generic sci-fi fantasy thing. And then I feel like the creature turns out to be a lad. Like, the creature is this incredible, very, very penis-like alien, if we're honest. But in like a pantomime kind of production values, it's very like it's very. You've probably seen it. You don't need me to describe the creature from the pit. I think the twist is it turns out to be a lad. Like, it's a creature from the pit, but then the Doctor like has some words with it, and he's like, "Ah, it's a cool guy." He's like been stranded on this planet, and the natives have like plugged him in a pit, and he's not happy with it. And then I feel like it goes bad. Like, I just want that story to go good. Like, I want him to be cutting a bit with this like fairly monstrous creature. He reminds me of Camille from Red Dwarf. If you ever saw the episode Camille, I think the episode's called Camille. This isn't a Red Dwarf show. I'm not being held to account for my knowledge of Red Dwarf names. But the episode's got a person in it called Camille, and she's like a shape changer, and she looks an awful lot like the creature from the pit. It's a good name. It's a good name for a Doctor Who episode, really. I don't have much more to say about it. I feel like the thing the chat will be loving is that Barbara is back. I'm vaguely sure it's Barbara. Once again, didn't do any research. But yeah, I mean, Creature from the Pit. Like, I think a lot of the Fourth Doctor's latter half of episodes get a lot of criticism, especially nowadays, with people like reevaluating them, because he does have that big kind of following as like the best Doctor or the best classic Doctor. You know, he was the best Doctor, and then like New Who started, and then it got like captioned down to being the best classic Doctor or the Doctor. But yeah, his second half of episodes, his second lot are a bit, they're quite a mixed bag. And then the stretch of them tonight, I vaguely remember a lot of them. Is kind of the best thing I can say about it. Nightmare of Eden, I saw for the first time on Twitch last year. That should be one of our catchphrases. That's one of the things we should put on mugs. I saw that for the first time last year on the Twitch. I quite liked it. Again, I've got quite Red Dwarf vibes from it, because it was It was an episode where like there was like a zoo. It was like a camera zoo, like a portable. They projected like a zoo onto the wall of a spaceship. There was like drug running. I was quite taken aback for like 80s Who having like drug running. But Big Ewan in the chat says, "Whoop, is that for drug running? Whoop for drug running." Yeah, like I was taken aback by drug running being in 70s Who. Like we'll get into hella drug running in like 80s Who, but like it felt a bit kind of rough and ready and raw for 70s Who, to be honest. The Daimon designs look pretty good. Not the Daimon, that's the next episode. Yeah, this is the thing, because a lot of these episodes I thought were like mixed in together. Like I thought the Leisure Hive was also Megalos, and because I thought the Leisure Hive was the one where the Doctor became a cactus. Like I've had that belief all my life, and recently as today, Wikipedia has challenged that belief. But yeah, Ewan loves me some drug running. Yeah, it's a good practice. I really can't criticize it in any way, shape, or form. But Nightmare in Eden is like a spaceship based about. It has a good gimmick where like the project a zoo onto the wall, and like that's where the threat comes from. And I feel like it's got some ecological stuff, and I was kind of just in the mood for it last year. It reminded me a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5 with its weird zoo that you can just kind of run on the side. Like you can do your like paramilitary operations and also like kidnap animals basically from their natural habitat and put them on your wee offshore oil platform zoo. And I got a wee bit of a vibe of that from Nightmare in Eden, if I'm honest. It's a good time. Can't criticise. The Horns of Nimon, I feel like, is a low point. I feel like a lot of people point to that as a low point. I have distinct memories of it as a youth on the omnibus format on UK Gold. I remember the first episode quite a bit. I remember being into the Minotaur folk quite a lot, and even having just like looked at them on Wiki, I still think they look pretty all right. Like people are like criticizing the production values. I don't think they're that bad. Like for 70s Who, honestly, I don't think they're. And I know, like Greek myth in space, like is fine. Like it's definitely like in the fine category. I can't summon any like anger or like heat. Like the bull alien design, like the big bobbly headed bulls, I guess irk a lot of people. But there's a fly. Oh, I got it and killed it. That's handy. I have zero knowledge of these episodes, says James. Yeah, I thought I had vague knowledge of them, but like I looked at this Twitch schedule earlier and I was like, oh god, I'm going to actually have to wiki these. Yeah, I would dip your toes into these episodes, honestly. I think that's one of the good things about Twitch. You're not spending money on it. It's not like you're dropping some amount of money on a DVD episode. So go see Horns of Nimon. Like it's got bull aliens in it. Like that's good. Like Nightmare in Eden has what I thought to be bull aliens. Again, I thought they were like merged together, but no, they're kind of like mole aliens. They've got big eyes and like flares, very 70s, but not in an aggressively disco kind of way, more of like an organically 70s kind of look. And drug runners. It's good. It is good. The Leisure Hive, again, the Leisure Hive is I've got it up here on the wiki. That's the one where the Doctor becomes old, right? I thought it was the one where he becomes a cactus man. Have I skipped an episode? No. Megalos is still to come. Yeah, the Leisure Hive, I remember watching on DVD in the 2000s and being a wee bit bored with it, to be honest. I don't know if John Nathan Turner had taken over by this point. I'm not down to clown on the behind the scenes on Classic Who that much. But the Leisure Hive does kind of feel like a JNT kind of a deal, at least from afar. I just thought it was the one where he became, I want to keep saying a pineapple, but he becomes a cactus, but that happens in Megalos. Nothing to say about the Leisure Hive. Honestly, I've summoned something to say about quite a lot of these episodes that I haven't seen. Going to Google Doctor Who becomes a cactus. I Google it. Tom Baker cactus. Tom Baker Megalos. It's a great image, and like every time I see it, it's obviously like a production still they've done where the Doctor's like holding up his like cactuses, and you can see that Tom Baker's like no into it. Like you can see, like look at his eyes. He's 100% not into the script that week. And like we're well into like top tyrannical Tom Baker, you know, knows better than the writers kind of phase of his Who. Which, you know, you can take or leave. I think it went vaguely well for that kind of approach, to be honest. I mean, as bad as that kind of an approach can go. Full Circle is, I'm going to definitely check this because I've got it up on Wiki. Yeah, Full Circle is the start of the E-Space trilogy. I bloody love the E-Space trilogy, mostly because it's called E-Space. There's something like incredibly early 80s about that. And there's a special kind of vibe to early 80s Who. See, like 80 to 83. I've come to think about this because like it's quite a British thing, the early 80s. Because like when you think of like the 80s, that's quite an image. He's fairly pineapple-y. He's like a pineapple-y cactus man. Like, have I skipped over Megalos? I might have just actually skipped over Megalos there. I'm no way at the night. Megalos. Megalos comes before Full Circle. Megalos, I watched for the first time last year on Twitch. I definitely watched it, but it was completely mad. There was like a cat. There was like a plant alien, and it wasn't just like a guy dressed as a plant. It was like a proper plant, and he was like in control of this base in a desert, and there were these like space barbarians, and the space barbarians were like hassling this plant, but he was like using them. I have no idea how it resolves, to be honest, but it was completely mad. I would recommend watching Megalos, to be honest, because you could watch it and then tell me what happened. It's up there with like Time. Is it Time in the Rani? The first Sylvester McCoy one, which I watched for the first time last year on Twitch, which was completely mad. I went to the ex-Doctor Who editor on Twitter and I was like, what happened in that episode? I watched the episode, but what happened? Explain to me what happened. And like I got the same vibe from Megalos. Megalos might not be what it's called, but I like saying Megalos. Time in the Rani is mental. Like, what happened in Time in the Rani? I've seen it. I sat and watched every moment of it. What was it about? There was like funny space or like zany. We'll get to it. There's like a couple of days until we get to like Doctor 7. Wee bit of shade there for the speed of the Twitch. Full Circle is the first one of the E-Space trilogy, and it's like got that great kind of early 80s Who vibe, and it introduces bloody Adric. Very early 80s. Are you saying that about Time in the Rani? Because Time in the Rani is like very mid to late 80s. It's all big hair and confusion. Like the cult had set in by that point. But what was I saying? Full Circle introduces Big Adric. And I remember being big into Full Circle. I couldn't tell you what happens in it again. Like all of these episodes, I couldn't tell you what happens. But it's the one with Swampman. Like, you know how like Tom Baker is just going about collecting all of the classic movie monsters? Well, in Full Circle, he gets to have Swampman. And they just look like creature from the Black Lagoon. Like, they are just that design. Like, clearly they got to a point where, like, copyright wasn't that much of a deal anymore for those classic monsters. And they just poached them. Adric's like a math kid. Like, I'm big into, like, the early 80s vibe of, like, math being power. And, like, he has, like, math powers that, like, people exploit him for it. At least once the Master kidnaps Adric, so he can just plug him into a computer so Adric can be the computer because he can do math good. That's an incredibly, like, specifically early 80s power. It's not like he's good at coding, he's good at math. I find, like, we'll just comment on him. I find Adric fine. I think he's, like, a kind of whiny character, but, like, most of classic Doctor Who companions are a wee bit whiny. Like, they never really got the memo about, like, having a time and space machine and how, like, incredible and fun that is. Like, I know some are more whiny than others, and we're getting to them. We're getting to, like, Tegan and that. But a lot of, like, classic Who is just people complaining. I remember watching Sixth Doctor stuff last year, and my girlfriend was like, this is just people shouting at each other. And I know the Sixth Doctor is worse than that for others. The Sixth Doctor is more worse. I can't phrase that. The Sixth Doctor is worse than that for others. That doesn't make sense, but I can't put the grammar together. But a lot of classic Who is that, and people give Adric a lot of crap. I'm not here to defend Adric, but, you know, spoilers, he dies in the most metal way possible. we'll talk about that like tomorrow or whenever Earthshock happens. But yeah, like, and again, I guess worserer. Yeah, the Sixth Doctor is worserer than that. He gets betterer, but it's too late by that point. Adric, yeah, like Adric, you don't really think of Adric as being a Fourth Doctor companion, but like the kind of tail end of like Baker's who didn't Baker just like start 2 days ago? Like Twitch is incredibly fast this year. Like I like the last year's schedule a lot better than this. But yeah. Adric, and then you get Tegan and you get Nyssa. Like they are technically, you know, Fourth Doctor companions, but they're very much the Fifth Doctor's lads. Yeah, and the other thing is you get your Swampman. You get your Swampman in Full Circle. And then in State of Decay, you just get straight up vampires. And I've always meant to sit and watch State of Decay a lot more intently than I watched it last year, because I had it on, but I didn't sit and watch every second of it. And I have seen it before that, because I got the E-Space box set, which is an incredible piece of cardboard. The green, I've never seen a green quite like the cardboard on the E-Space box. I know it's probably just dark green, but, you know, it gets to me in my brain. I listened to the Sirens of Time, and Six was the MVP. He got kidnapped the least. Aye, if you've not seen Big Finish, or listened to Big Finish, I should say, Big Finish's audio dramas that they've been cranking out for 20 years now. This is their 20th anniversary. They went in with like some certain goals, and one of those goals was to save the Sixth Doctor's character, because they phoned up Colin Baker and they're like, will you do this for Smoke's money? And he was like, yes, I will do this for Smoke's money. And then for 20 years, they've just kind of just been cracking away at that, making like Six a good character. And that's very commendable. Good work, those men. But State of Decay has vampires. It's just a straight up vampire thing. E-Space, I should mention, is like an alternate universe that they go to, or they like trundle into. I can't remember how they get to E-Space, but they get to E-Space, and it, like, you think they would call like their first alternate universe something other than E-Space, but they call it E-Space, and E-Space is a hell of a vibe. There should be more stories set in E-Space. One of my favorite Fifth Doctor lines is, "I will not go back to E-Space." It's something along those lines. He's like, "I will not go back to E-Space." Like it's good. Like E-Space, man. I want to go to E-Space. It sounds like a website that like, you know, you can make a good website on. E-Space sounds like a 90s rave act. Yes, it does. I'm so sad that it probably is a band name, or I would have it as me band name. State of Decay is also like incredibly metal, which I feel like is something that you get when you put vampires in your story. But I feel like at some point in State of Decay, there's like a giant Batman, Bat God vampire that's like buff, that like rises out of the ground, and it's like either incredible model work or just it's something. And then they stake him with a spaceship, like a proper like Flash Gordon rocket that like goes up and then comes back down and like stakes this giant vampire god in the heart. That's how you do science fiction vampires. I feel like it's probably not conveyed well. It might actually happen off screen, but that's a concept that you just don't get anymore. Like, imagine if Chibnall was banging out concepts like giant space Batman god thing gets staked by a rocket. I feel like we'd have better things to say about season 11 if that was the case. There might be a lot of waffling about before that, but that is Doctor Who for you. I feel like Adric might like instantly betray the team like one episode in. You know, classic bants. But I feel like that's all I have to say, really, about these episodes. I'm going to do my episode of the night. Let's have a look. What have we got to pick from? Creature of the Pit, Nightmare in Eden, Horns of Nimon, The Leisure Hive, Megalos, Full Circle, and State of Decay. I don't have any horse in this race. I don't have any Doug in this race, really. I don't have any favourites. I don't have any biases. It's not like last night where I can just talk about Destiny of the Daleks for like an hour, because it's crap, but amazing. I mean, State of Decay does have metal vampires. and leisure, or like Megalos does have. Oh, I know how we'll do this. I know how we'll do this. We'll just say that State of Decay is my pick of the night. Go stay up to like 6 in the morning to watch State of Decay, and my monster of the night will be the Doctor for the first time ever this season. The Doctor, when he's turned into a pineapple cactus, and he goes like this. Where's my smokes money? It's terrifying. It's very, very, very silly. I not quite sure why they did it, other than probably a lack of funding and idea, like that very special combination of a lack of funding and ideas that get to something creative but naff. Yeah, this has been good. I'm gonna do like the YouTuber sign off here, where I'm gonna be like, I like, comment, and subscribe. James and Ewan have been our lads in the chat, chatting away. If you've no rung the bell, gonna ring my bell, because apparently that's a thing. YouTubers say that, and like I'm like, I don't like it. It never comes up for me because I don't properly subscribe to people because I'm bad at it. But I ring the bell because it means that you can see when these live videos happen, so I don't have to keep going, yo, live things are happening. But I probably still will do that because I just chat to you anyway. But I ring the bell. We've kind of got a Patreon on the go. It's all like placeholder text of me saying, yo, give us your dollar, and things like that. But if you want to become a Patreon, go find, it's Craig's Girthy Toys on Patreon. Use money. We're trying to raise funds. We're going to get to £2 so we can get a bulb so I don't look like a ghoul. And then we're going to get another bulb for another £2 to get a lamp so I look less like a ghoul. And then I believe the third tier is like WD-40 for the squeaky chair, which you've probably been enjoying all episode. Yeah, so that's what's on Twitch tonight. It's free Doctor Who, basically. Go watch free Doctor Who. Like, even if you watch like 5 minutes of it, it's still a time. You'll get something out of it if you've not seen these episodes. James was saying that he hasn't seen or doesn't know anything about these episodes. Me too, basically. I thought I did, but had to resort to the wiki. Anyway, thanks for watching tonight. See you tomorrow when I think, if I look at the schedule, oh yeah, tomorrow is like bangers. So yeah, tune in tomorrow. Watch me like not very coolly end the stream.